Welcome to Jackalope Tales, Urban Legends in Music, where we uncover, is it real or is it a jackalope tale? I'm your host, Charles Mooney.
And I'm Lisa Umbarger. And together, we were former members of the Toadies.
Oh, the good old days.
The good old days. Now we're the good new days.
The better new days. Yeah. And, oh my God, this is the 50th episode.
50th episode, y'all. Thank you, thank you,
Damn.
thank you. It's because of you that we have the 50th episode.
Oh my God. We so appreciate everyone who listens to us. And if you haven't listened to us yet and you're finding us, listen.
Because you might laugh a little bit. We're trying to make you pee your pants.
We even laugh
We're
a
gonna be
little
honest.
bit.
We
Yeah,
do.
yeah.
Did you pee your pants a little? Just a little.
It was a drip.
You have to
Yeah.
strengthen the pelvic floor
I
as you get
know.
older.
I know. I got to be more prepared for these moments. So, but just a quick little note. I want to dedicate this one to my mom, Yvonne. We're recording this August 25th, and she passed away exactly 1 week ago. So she was always an encourager, and thankful for her. Thanks, Mom. And it's to you.
Mrs. Mooney, I have some of the sweetest memories of her because our first rehearsal space was your house and your game room.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
And she was always so
she made us cookies.
Sweet. I know, right? I know. She's
cookies and juice.
Right.
Yeah.
Your mom, I have her on a pedestal. She's kind of with Mrs. Cleaver kind of mom. She is that sweet kind of mom.
She was spot on.
Yeah.
Spot on.
And
anyway,
the world is a less sweet place without your mom in it. So yes.
Yeah, I feel the same way. But love you, Mom.
That's why this guy's so good. He has such sweet parents.
Yeah, I took after my mom.
Yep.
Thank God I
Thanks
didn't
for
take
making
after
cookies.
my dad. I know, those were damn good cookies. But yeah, we're going to kind of change things up a little bit for the 50th episode. We're going to kind of talk about ourselves.
Right.
We've asked for questions. We don't have the big enough egos to just want to do our own thing.
Right. So we asked you on the socials for questions, and we're going to answer some of those questions.
Yeah, we got some cool responses. So
because there are some jackalopes hanging out there, and maybe we can clarify some of them.
Oh yeah, yeah.
About the band.
There are quite a few about the Toadies.
Right.
And like the origins of some of the songs, some of the stories I've heard about them, and it's like, what the hell?
Right.
Yeah. So, but it's kind of fun to play along with them too.
I got in an online fight with someone who says that I don't know what Possum Kingdom is about. Did you see that?
No, that's
right.
hilarious.
Someone's like, you don't know, and I was like, yeah, I kind of do know what the song is about. and then other people were going, maybe you should Google who you're having a conversation with. And they're like, I don't have to. I know what the song is about. And it was like this big war.
God.
And then they like posted pictures of clowns after I would answer stuff, and I was like, whatever.
Oh shit, that's a
funny.
good one. That is good. Oh, that's a fun argument.
The person was a dick.
Yeah, yeah. Let's see what's one of the questions you might find.
So
there.
Let me find one. I'm trying to find one from your era. Did you guys ever meet anyone from Judas Priest or have any inside information about the huge hubbub with not letting KK back in the band that he founded? I know it's a long shot, but I thought I'd ask you.
I've never had any interaction
Would
with
I
Judas
love
Priest.
to meet Judas Priest?
Yeah.
Hells yeah.
Oh my God.
I never did.
No.
Never did. I wish that I would have. So I don't know any of the inside hubbub.
I've never seen them.
But maybe we should.
I had some of their albums. Oh my God. Yeah.
I even like Turbo Lover. I liked that album. I know that that's one that a lot of fans are like, that album sucked, but I liked that song. It was kind of fun.
Because see, I was Point of Entry, Screaming for Vengeance.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
that one's a given.
Oh my God.
But a lot of people bailed during Turbo Lover, and I liked that one. It had those screaming guitars.
Turbo Lover.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my God, Rob Halford with that vocal.
Yeah.
And I think he still sings like a motherfucker.
Oh, he does. It's amazing.
Oh, Good.
And they're coming
that
to
leather.
town soon. We should go.
The spikes and leather.
Right.
Can't go wrong.
Here's one that you might know or have some insight. Anything you can remember, stories about the band 5/8, Adams Farm, Mad Hatters, or Engine Room stories.
Ooh, golly. I mean,
were you still in the band when we were playing with 5/8?
No, I wasn't. I mean, I played some shows at Mad Hatter's.
You were with us
When
during
Mad Hatter started out.
Adams Farms days, though.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was. I'm trying to remember some stories from that. Do you have any?
I don't have any, except I saw them play at that club that lasted like a week, and I can't even remember the name of the club.
Was it around there in the area as Mad Hatter's?
It was after Axis, before Mad Hatters.
Oh.
And only a few bands played. I think we maybe played.
Did we?
And I remember I saw Pop
man.
Poppins and Adams Farm.
Yeah.
There. But I can't remember the name of the darn club.
Shoot.
Do you have any?
That's where we need Terry or Randy to chime in.
You played at Mad Hatters, though, right?
Yeah, we
That's
did.
What I thought.
I did a few shows at Mad Hatters.
So what's your...
Mad Hatters was actually the place where I told Todd that I was leaving.
I remember.
Oh,
yeah.
But I'll get into that later on. But yeah.
So Mad Hatters was kind of like our home.
Yeah.
It was home base. In fact, when I was going to college, and Mad Hatters would be the place that I would hang out all the time. So if anyone was looking for me and I wasn't at work or at home, I was at Mad Hatters, and I would leave school, go to Mad Hatters, get a cup of coffee and like a pizza or something out of their wood fire oven.
I know. I remember the food there. That was such a step up from the Axis.
Yep.
Because here's the Axis that has nothing.
Yep. I would hang out at the booth, and that's where I would study. So before Starbucks was Mad Hatters, and I would just hang out there and drink nonstop coffee and study.
Yep. And it was Kelly and Melissa.
Yep.
That ran the place.
And chat with people who came in.
Yeah.
But mostly it was like just a great place. They were playing music that I loved in the background, and I would hang out and study. And then either that night we played, or there was another band and I would watch the band. And
that was another one of the places where they were able to bring in all these amazing acts.
Yeah.
To play there.
Yep.
It's because I remember I didn't, and I kicked myself in the ass, but No Means No played there.
Yep.
And
I bartended.
No, did you really?
I bartended during No Means No.
Did you even get to meet their bass player?
I talked to all of them. They were super nice folks.
Cool.
But mostly I was
They are Canadian, though.
Yeah, there's something okay about Canada.
I'm kidding. But no. That's cool. But yeah, I've got great memories of Mad Hatters. Of course, more of my memories come from the Axis.
Right.
Just because of it was that start.
Right.
And just the impact of all that.
Definitely mine is Mad Hatters because I did spend so much time there.
Yeah.
It was seriously my home away from home. And everyone I knew would hang out there. So it was part of my social life and part of my study life and college life, and then work life because we played there.
And I think there may have even been a question about this, but I remember because I had left, and then you all recorded the album, and you all invited me to come out there for the Mr. Love video.
Yes.
And it was filmed in Mad Hatters.
Yes.
And it was chaotic.
It was crazy. It was so crazy and so fun.
Now, I think I remember the question. Someone said that it was supposed to be a different location before it ended up there. Maybe I'm getting my questions confused.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I think that it was always going to be at Mad Hatters.
Yeah. I remember. Go ahead.
We were super, super into supporting the people that supported us.
Yeah.
And that felt like a way that we could do it.
Yeah.
Because Mad Hatters closed down for like 2 days and they got paid by us to close it down. Yeah. So it was a way for us to thank them.
Yeah.
and we painted the album cover. Dan, who was the original artist, and all of us showed up and painted the background for the album cover on the wall at Mad Hatter's, and it stayed there for a very long time.
Oh, wow. And I remember you had hired some guy to lick a toad.
Yeah.
For the video.
Yeah, he was from a rehearsal space.
Oh, yeah.
He looked homeless, and he always freaked us out that he was in charge with the keys to everyone's rehearsal space.
Oh God.
His name was Ed.
Yeah.
And then we got to know him, and we realized he was just a good-hearted guy.
Oh, okay.
Not a homeless guy
Yeah.
with keys. And and we asked him to be in the video, and he was cool, and he actually had to lick toads and stuff in the video.
I think I remember him doing
crazy.
it. Yeah. So
but 5'8", I'm gonna answer another question. 5'8" is one of my favorite bands to play with.
Yeah.
I consider them friends. Had so many great conversations with Tigger, their drummer.
Yeah.
And had a really good surprise. I went to go see Gang of Four last year.
Yeah.
I think it was last year. And Tigger was on their crew.
Oh,
yeah.
No way.
So I got to meet Gang of Four.
And you didn't even know he was going to be there.
Did not know. And I saw him up there, and I kept going, I know that guy. I know that guy. It was Tigger from 5'8". So that was very cool.
Look at the music world making a full circle back.
That band 5'8" is genius and should have been bigger. By the way. And they're playing again, so go see them if you see them on tour.
Oh, sweet.
Let's see. I'm going to answer this one because a lot of people have asked this.
Yeah, go for it.
Who was the crazy guy jumping around in the Tyler video? My wife thinks it's Vaden. He looks like Eminem to me. And also the Away alternative videos. That's not a question, I guess, but who are the muscle women and what's the story behind that? Okay, there's two video questions. The person running around is Craig from Brutal Juice. So we got to fly Craig in
cool.
From Brutal Juice to run around, and we wanted it to be an Evil Dead feel. And he's supposed to be the person who's kind of being tormented by opening up the Book of the Dead. Running from the demons. Nice. So he's looking around and running.
Yeah.
And so we're in this old crazy house, and Craig is running around trying to hide from the evil spirits.
Okay.
So that's that one.
Yeah.
And the alternate Away video. It's really sad that one didn't make it. So Casali from sorry, my brain doesn't work all that good with names, but from Devo.
Yes. Now I know what you're talking about.
What's his first name?
Oh, shit.
Anyway.
Yeah.
So it was directed. So Away, the first video was directed by Casale from Devo. And he had this crazy idea that we were on this raft that was going down this lava river, and it was these crazy muscle women moving the raft. Or like kind of working the oars of the raft.
Okay.
And so they went down to like a local gym, and they got these totally balled out women.
Yeah.
And they put them in latex dresses, like pink latex dresses. But they were huge. These women were huge. And
this sounds so Devo.
It's so Devo.
I mean,
And so, we're singing and we're trying to keep our balance, and we're on this raft going down this lava river. And at the end, it's so cool. They film our faces, and we're singing the song, and our faces sink below the lava. So the way that we shot it was in green screen, and they cut this hole in this tarp.
Yeah.
And our faces were up in this tarp, and then we would slowly go down, sink into the lava river. And they sent us the first edit, and Todd hated it. And he said we looked stupid and didn't like the muscle women. And we canned the whole thing after spending all of that money.
Oh, and no, he just didn't get the humor.
No.
Oh,
and it would have been great.
Oh my
And
God.
because of that, the video for Away and the release date for the single was pushed back. Like really pushed back.
Yeah.
And I like the second one that we did for Away, but the first one would have been great. It was like real vivid colors.
It makes me think of the Whip It video.
Yes.
That
Yeah,
Devo
it's
did.
totally crazy like that.
See, and that,
and
that video is iconic, and yours could have been.
Right. And it was no conversations, no chance to re-edit. And we burned some bridges there with that I really hated that we burned. That's the story of Away. It's kind of sad. And I don't have if you have a copy of that, will you send it to me? Because
shit.
can't
even find it.
I used to have a copy of it and I can't find it. I've looked for it.
Oh, where did you all go to film that?
LA. We did it in an LA stage.
Wow.
So just a sound stage.
And the guy from Devo, he was really cool.
So freaking cool. He signed all my Devo stuff.
Oh,
Jerry.
Really cool.
Signed all of our Devo stuff. And I'm not going to lie, I was so enamored with the whole process.
Yeah.
And I mean, this is a guy you only know from TV.
Right.
And he's a genius.
Uh-huh.
And you're getting to hang out with him for several days. To me, it was just like,
it couldn't have gotten better.
Right.
How long were you all there doing the
It was at
video?
least a 2-day shoot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Probably 2 busy days.
2 really busy days. And then it was a lot of post-production because of all the, the green screen and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I don't know. I thought it was great.
You did remember loving the video.
Yeah. I liked it a lot.
Yeah.
We're all dressed up like cowboys too, by the way.
Oh shit. Oh,
because we're in Texas, so we're all dressed in kind of Western gear. I had a pink cowgirl shirt on with a big old hat.
Ah, shit. We gotta get a copy of that.
Yeah. So we're all dressed Western.
Wow.
And I think it's just funny. To me, it was really Land of the Lost, kind of.
Yes. Right.
So,
oh man, that's really cool.
What questions you got?
Well, let's see here. Actually, I got a couple questions that I just even thought of that I was like, I wonder what Lisa's answer would be. So a couple came from me. Okay. So, first one is, I mean, of course, we love punk music. We go way back with punk. What was your first punk album?
Sex Pistols.
Was it?
Sex Pistols.
Okay.
And I remember all of the news about the Sex Pistols when they came to the United States to tour.
Oh, yeah.
And it was all over the news. They were heavily covered on like nightly news.
Right.
And all the punk rock kids with the safety pins in their cheeks and stuff.
Yeah.
And I mean, like hardcore punks. And I was like, what the hell?
Yeah.
And then listening to what they were saying was really cool. I felt it was really pro-America because they hated the Queen so much, right?
Yeah.
I was like,
no, that's
these
true.
guys would get along with us. We hate the Queen too.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, I remember I bought a Sex Pistols album.
Yeah. Okay.
And I remember thinking it was really hard to listen to. I could only listen to it in little spurts.
Okay. Right.
Because it was so different and so hard.
Right.
And I liked pop music.
Oh.
But to me, this was kind of poppy. It had little hooks. But I couldn't listen to the full album because it was so
aggressive.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was. And I know that really sounds funny now because I listen to it and I'm like, this is nothing. It's like listening to
Debbie good old Gibson. Rock. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. But back then it was just like so different.
Yeah. No.
What was your first punk rock album?
Well, for me, I think my first kind of introduction to punk was seeing Killing Joke on MTV with 80s. And then I did get the Sex Pistols album because it was, I remember seeing articles even like in 1976 about the punk scene. And I remember a particular teen magazine where they had a little bit in section about the different punk bands.
Yeah.
And I remember seeing pictures of the Dead Boys, the Runaways, the Sex Pistols, and they looked scary to me. Because of course, all those rumors that were going around or the talk about like the Sex Pistols, especially, was how violent they were,
Right.
how they would beat up their audience, spit on them, and
Pee
it's
on
like,
them, cut themselves with razor blades.
Right. And so there was this kind of like a nervous curiosity about it, but I really consider my first punk album because I would go to the store in the Ridgemar Mall. I'm trying to remember what it was called. It may have been Craig's, but they had an import section or they had a hardcore section. And I was always curious about the Dead Kennedys, the one In God We Trust Incorporated.
Yes.
I would see it, but I never was quite ready to pull the trigger. And then I thought, well, I like the Sex Pistols. I like Killing Joke. I'm going to buy it. And I remember putting it on the turntable. And I mean, good God, I might have been 13 or 14. And when I heard Religious Vomit, the first song, I took the needle off and I left the room because it scared the shit out of me.
Right.
I mean, I'm imagining these human beings that are just nasty, filthy. They want to kill your parents. They want to kill your kids. But then I went back and I'd start putting it on a little bit more and listening, and it became my solid rotation. From after a bit.
The bass in the Dead Kennedys was so driving.
But when you look at the Dead Kennedys discography, that is like the one album that is the most hardcore of them all.
Yeah.
So it's
because
funny.
Holiday in Cambodia and some of those songs are not
the Fresh Fruit for Rotting Vegetables album, the Plastic Surgery Disasters, those are,
although the album covers were
that was kind of intriguing too, because you just didn't see that on the pop albums at all. But so when you mentioned the thing about the Sex Pistols and how it kind of scared you a little bit, same thing for me. So it was, but then ended up gravitating to it.
Right.
It was like, I need more of that.
And I also kind of went over to I know Blondie is not considered punk.
Yeah.
But
they were in that list too.
Yeah. She's kind of dips a toe. I remember going to Sound Warehouse every single weekend and asking for Parallel Lines album. Because I saw them on, I don't know, whatever Friday night show. I saw them play and I heard Heart of Glass and I was like, this is insane. And hanging on the telephone.
Yeah.
And I was like, I gotta hear this band more. My dad would drive me up every weekend and they would go, it's not coming out for another month. And I never believed them. And I would go every Saturday. I'd have my dad drive me every Saturday and go, is Parallel Lines here? And when I finally got Parallel Lines, that album did not leave my turntable. I was so stoked about that.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that album changed my life.
Man. Yeah, she was included in that punk section, that teen magazine.
Yeah.
So,
and I mean, although it wasn't as hard, it felt like a cross between, it was a nice bridge between punk and pop for me.
True. It kind of gave you the best of everything.
Amazing.
Yeah. No, it
for
was.
me at the time.
Oh, it was a big deal then. Yeah. Now, another thing I wondered is when you think of an album that you could listen to from start to finish, and there's no skipping. No, I mean, just one that every song.
PJ Harvey, Dry.
That's
that
cool.
one still, I pull out and listen to that a lot.
There's
quite a few, but that one's at the top.
Okay. Yeah.
What about
that's
you?
cool. For me, it is Failure's Fantastic Planet.
Holy shit. Yes.
I have such an appreciation for that album, and I don't know why, but
Why
holy
weren't
hell.
they bigger? Because every musician on their list will put Failure.
Oh yeah. And I mean, A Perfect Circle covered the Nurse song,
Yeah.
and it's like, oh my God.
But they're on almost every musician's list as one of the greatest bands
Yeah.
that no one knows about.
And their other albums, okay, but God, there was something about that one.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh shit.
So what influenced your music taste? Because, I had my dad who would quiz me every car ride about who this is and what's the name of this song.
Yeah.
So it was work to get in the car.
Right.
Who influenced you? Because I know you were into Kiss and stuff like that really early on.
It was just more of the influences of the people I was around, but
other kids.
Yeah, because the people that lived across the street, they had some 4 sons, and I was friends with the youngest, but the 2 older ones in their room, they had Kiss stuff on the wall, Alice Cooper stuff on the wall. So there was that whole thing of like, what the hell is this? This looks cool as shit. And it's like, oh, the older kids love it. So it's got to be cool.
Yeah.
I actually got some influence from my sister, because I remember her buying Rush's Moving Pictures.
Okay.
And it was like, so she got into and then some of the old Police music. So that kind of got me thinking about different stuff. But God, once, I don't know really where I guess the whole punk thing was just my own desire to find different things.
Right.
Because I've said it before, I'll always say it. I like my music to be like broccoli, not like sugar cookies or anything easy to eat. I like something that challenges me.
Right.
So,
yeah, I remember going to a record store was like a treasure hunt.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And I really loved the days of music stores where you would find that treasure.
Yeah. Oh, because we've said it many times. We didn't have the access to go and listen to a song before. We would go to the store, and if the cover looked cool as hell, we'd get it. If it were on a particular label, we'd get it. That's how it was.
Right.
And the punk stuff, especially the alternative stuff, you had no access to any of that. I would drive an hour to VVV Records, not knowing what I was going to get. But I'd just go in and start looking and choose some
I remember
stuff.
we used to go a lot on the weekends.
Oh, yeah.
What was that place in Carrollton, too? That was, we'd hit 3 stores.
Because there was Bill's, VVV.
And that place in Carrollton, Metamorphosis or something like that. Was that what it was called?
Be right. You might be right.
In that little strip mall?
Yep. I remember it well, though. But, yeah. And just... It was just fun to go discover.
And just like spend your whole paycheck
on gas and music.
Yes.
Just to get there to buy it.
Yeah. And it would be an excursion that you would plan. You're going, hey, we're going to Dallas. Going to pick up some records.
Oh, and when I would buy, like, especially when I think of labels like SST.
Yes.
You could get something like the Minutemen. You could get the Meat Puppets. You could get Black Flag. You could get Husker Du.
Yep.
Every one of them was different, but in such a cool way.
Right.
And it was like, man, this Meat Puppets album, because Up on the Sun, I bought that one. And it was like, this is really different, but it's cool as shit.
Still good.
Yeah.
Oh, and Husker Du? Yes.
Oh my God. Yeah. Zen Arcade and then New Day Rising.
Yes.
Oh.
That's New Day Rising. I can never feel sad when I hear that song. I love
Bob Mould. I fucking love you.
So much good Bob Mould.
Oh.
So
great memories.
When I think of you, the album that I have associated with you is or in the band is the Butthole Surfers.
Yes.
Because I really wasn't into the Butthole Surfers.
Yeah.
And you're the one who was like, you got to try this band.
I know. It was one of those where it really stretched you
Yeah.
mentally
Yeah.
to get it. And
I can't even remember the first album I bought on your recommendation.
yeah, it could have. Well, I mean, I just have to guess. I mean, because the albums that stick out to me are the Psychic, Powerless, Another Man's Sack.
Yep.
And
it's
that
probably
one that one was really a mystery buy because there were no lists of songs at all. It just looked like rotting
Right.
faces on the cover.
And then I remember one of the ones I was waiting for. We were really excited was the Locust Abo.
Oh my God!
Locust
That one.
Abortion Technicians.
Yep.
That one with the album art and
Oh,
that's when we saw them play.
yes.
Isn't it that tour that we went to go
Ooh.
see them play?
I think I've seen them. I saw them play 3 or 4 times.
Right, but the ones where we went
Yes.
together was, I think, the Locust Abortion Technicians.
Yeah, it
So-
was.
But
And
I can never untwine them from you.
yeah, is that right? And then you all got to tour with them.
Yeah, that was fucking cool.
It's
I thought about you the whole
cool
time.
and scary, maybe,
It was great.
because they seem so just on another plane.
We didn't really talk to them a whole lot
Really?
because they were like, don't talk to the queen or whatever. And it was
man.
like there was a reverence there.
Yeah.
And they would let us hang out with them and stuff.
Yeah.
But there was such reverence there that it was very hard to
Right.
hang out with them.
Like in the presence of God, you don't look at them. You don't
Yeah,
talk
exactly.
to them.
Exactly. Like-
you get a rope tied to your ankle to be dragged out of the tent in
Like
case
the
you die.
First time I had absinthe was with Gibby.
Oh shit! Oh,
And a fan made it and brought it.
my
I
God!
was like, let's have some absinthe. And we were like, okay.
Which is scary as fuck now,
Right.
And with fentanyl,
Yes. And so we did that. And the Ball Surfer fans were so kind to us
yeah,
because we're not like that band. And they were very nice to us when we toured with them.
cool.
But also Reverend Horton Heat was on that tour. And we knew them a lot better. So we hung out with them because it
Okay.
felt safer and,
right?
like, it was
And-
easier.
Yeah, and then Paul Leary, the guitarist, ended up producing for you.
Our second record
Yeah,
that never came out,
yeah,
Feeler. Which we're sad about.
yeah,
But yeah, so there was a lot of ties there.
Oh
we're-
yeah,
Definitely closer with Paul than any of the other surfers. But
right.
if you could have hung out with
Oh,
Paul, you would have loved him.
oh, I know I would have.
So,
that was just
He's such a good dude.
That's cool.
Yep.
But- oh yeah, and that's one of those bands where I loved them that long ago, and I'm not ashamed to still love them.
Same. Yeah.
Because Kiss, I'm ashamed, but
I don't think it should be. To me, I seen that as very cool.
well,
Because
for then, but
no, I think it's cool because I was still listening to the Carpenters and you were listening to Kiss.
well, I do remember when speaking of my mom, but my mom and dad were very nervous about me loving Kiss because all they knew was the Fire and the Blood.
Right.
And I remember there was in the Ridgemar Mall, and you can tell I went there pretty often. There was a Woolworth and Woolco,
Mhm.
like a 5 and dime kind of place, and they had singles. And Love Gun had come out, and the single was Christine 16.
Yeah.
And I was like, I just want something Kiss. And they're like, okay, you can buy that single, but nothing, you can't ever get anything else.
Oh shit.
And so I bought it. And then, of course, I learned that Gene Simmons had been an English teacher, which my mom had been an English teacher. So I started doing, hey, Mom, Gene used to be an English teacher. So I found ways to try and then they ended up realizing they weren't that.
Your dad took you to a concert.
Yes,
Yeah, man.
exactly. Now, one question I got on my YouTube channel was from Eagle TKC.
Yep.
And he said, Charles, do you have a sit down why you no longer are with the Toadies interview? And then he said some cool things. You are obviously, to me, the single reason why I love the Toadies. He was 15 when Rubberneck came out, formed a band, played our music. The album was iconic for your guitar whammy screams and also for lead singer Todd Lewis. So just to address, I'm not going to go in, it doesn't need too much detail, but it got to the point where we were being looked at by major labels. We'd already signed to Grass Records, and I was finishing college. My parents had paid for me to go to TCU, and I was getting married a few months after graduating. And it was where
that's a lot of life changes all at once.
You feel, I mean, did I do what I wanted to do? No. But I chose what I felt like I had to choose. It was very tough to decide that. It was very tough to put the band back and then become the adult according to the rules. But there was never, well, I think my ex-wife may have even said, no, you're not going to tour or anything.
We blamed her.
Oh, no, and you should have, because there was a pressure I felt like, get married and all of a sudden hit the road. It just, I wouldn't allow that to be the case. Right. And it was the toughest decision, one of the toughest I've ever had to make.
I don't even know how you made that decision. That for real, because you were part of the heart and soul of what we were doing.
Yeah.
And there was a short little period where we had to consider if we were going to go on without you.
Yeah.
Because we couldn't see a band without you.
Yeah.
So that was really hard. If you would waited, if you had done it like 6 months earlier, there would have been no Toadies. We would have broken up. If you had done it earlier, it would have been done.
Wow.
But because we were getting major label interest,
I know. Yeah.
We kept going just because let's see what happens.
Yeah.
But it was a hard decision for us too, because it's like, fuck,
like
one of the reasons why we're doing this is not here. So why do we want to do this?
I know.
So we had to reevaluate that. It was hard for everybody.
And I mean, we had been longtime friends.
Yeah.
And it was
just felt like a big part of why we wanted to do this was gone.
Yeah. Now, and the one thing I want to say is, because for many years, I had dreams of coming back and joining. I suffered from those dreams. But it's like, from what I'm hearing nowadays, because I know that Vaden has issues with what you and I are doing.
Right.
And I have found out some things where he is basically not even including me in the Toady history.
Yeah.
Which
is sad.
There have been interviews talking about, that feedback you had and all that stuff. And I am never mentioned. So I just want to go on record saying feedback was me.
Oh, yeah.
I did it because I didn't know how to play leads. No one told me to install a tremolo on my Les Paul. Right. I loved Jesus and Mary Chain. I loved feedback. And I thought maybe instead of leads, I can do this. So that's why all the songs I helped to create on Rubberneck have that feedback sound. And I don't think anything really did after that, because I'm thinking feedback just wasn't in the wheelhouse brain of Todd or Daryl.
So
they had their own style.
Yeah, because Daryl actually was a great lead guitarist, so he could actually play leads.
See?
He could play actual leads. But the one thing about Daryl, and I love Daryl.
Daryl is cool.
Is he's the only one who's been able to get very, very close to what you did. Yeah. I think he's done a really good job of emulating what you did. Yeah. And he had a certain reverence for what you did. He understood.
Yeah.
But on his own, he could play a fucking lead. He shredded on guitar.
Oh,
he didn't look like he could. He's just like this totally
so true,
like normal looking guy, and he just freaking shreds.
Yeah, yeah. No. He really carried it off well.
Right.
And
there hasn't been anyone else that's been able to do that since Daryl.
But I just don't think it was in their brain to write that kind of feedback.
Well, I mean, they can't put on Charles' brain either. I mean, really, like for real.
Yeah, yeah. So really, what it boils down to is, if he is trying to hide me from the history of the Toadies, I love
Peekaboo.
Todd Lewis. Yeah, I love Todd Lewis, and fuck you, Vaden Todd Lewis, if you're trying to keep me out of the history.
I totally wholeheartedly support you in that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't realize he was doing that as much.
Well, I think he seems to not care for what we do now.
Well, I know that. He doesn't care for me at all. But I think that I am okay with the way I left things, and I think you are as well.
I am.
You've come.
I am.
Yeah.
If I didn't have this with you, then things would still be tough. Yeah. We've been able to make a full circle back and join and do what we love to do.
Right.
And that's fantastic.
And I think it's very healing to talk about it.
Yeah.
So
yeah, of course. So
we're not trying to make anything more divisive than it already is, but it is.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we'll be honest with that. I mean, we'll be the first ones to say that it's not, rainbows and puppy dogs.
Yeah.
And I suspect that it probably never would be.
Right.
But I don't think we hold any grudges. I think that's the one thing.
No, I really fairly don't.
I mean, we were put in situations by managers, record companies.
Oh, y'all were exposed
other people around
to
us, ex-wives.
Yes, yes, in my case.
Who made who created some situations for us that were hard to navigate at the time.
Very well.
I think that's probably the easiest way that I can say.
Yeah.
And we navigated it the best we could with the skills that we had.
Yeah.
Now, is there some things I would have done different? Maybe.
Me too. Yeah.
But I'm actually happy with where I am now and what I'm doing. And
me too.
That I've got my best friend back here. Because we were best friends from.
Oh God, we went to shows. Well, I think I started working at
80s,
Sound Warehouse
84, 85
because I was shopping in the record store in about 83, 84, and you were working there. And y'all always called me Rude Boy because of the Clash movie. And then we got to know each other and then hung out all the time. So
there was a big hole in my life where you weren't in it for a while. And I'm so glad that you're back.
Hey. I'm glad you're back. I know.
Good.
Took a while.
Look at this. So, I don't know how. I mean, if you guys have any questions, I don't know. I think we answered a bunch of shit.
Yeah. No, now I do have one more. I know. This one's getting kind of deep. So is there an album or a song where, because of maybe what you were going through in life, or you may have learned something more about the song and the meaning behind it, that it's made it like your special song or special album?
So there's a lot of albums that I have tied to certain periods of my life.
Yes. Yeah.
But the one that first comes into my brain is Bake Sale by Sebadoh.
Really? Okay.
I know that sounds really weird.
No.
I would always take the night shift driving.
Okay.
Because I was the one who didn't drink as much. So, and on nights after shows, I didn't drink during the show, so I would drive. I would take the first driving shift, and I would listen to that album non-freaking stop while I drove. That was my driving album.
Yeah.
That and Modest Mouse. But yeah, License to Confuse, driving through the desert. I highly recommend. It's like 1 in the morning.
Yeah.
And there's all these weird cactus and ghost figures and shit as you drive down this 2-lane highway.
Oh my God.
And all the weird colors and darkness and
shit.
And License to Confuse.
Yeah.
outfits.
Wow. Okay, I'm gonna have to listen to it.
Yeah.
That is cool.
Yeah.
For me, it's a weird one. William Basinski.
What the fuck?
I know. He is he writes like experimental music.
Yeah.
And I mean, just he is actually from Texas. And again, William Basinski, and his album is Disintegration Loops. And now here's the story behind it. And it's one of those where I was working at the bank one day and I kind of had the music playing on Spotify. This was years and years ago. And I kept hearing, because it was on a rotation where it was just playing songs that thought I might like.
Yeah.
And I was hearing this music, and it was kind of an ambient kind of music, and I was really enjoying it. And then I noticed 30 minutes later that I was still kind of hearing that same thing. And I looked down on the Spotify app, and it showed that it was a track that was an hour long.
Holy shit.
Yeah. Now, and of course, here's my broccoli. I'm like, oh my God, I gotta figure out what this is about. And this is where the story behind it just took it to a whole, I mean, it's become one of my most passionate loves of music. He was living in New York back in the early 2000s, late 90s, and he was an ambient musician, experimental, and he was running out of ideas. He was living in a loft in New York, and he found some reel-to-reel tapes where he had made some recordings of like just loops of particular music. I mean, it almost sounds orchestral. So he wanted to digitize everything. So he got a reel to reel, set it up to be recording on a digitizer, I guess is what you'd call it. And he started playing the reel to reel, and he looped the reel to reel. So it just kind of played it continuously.
Oh, wow.
So he's doing that. And then he goes away for a little bit, and he comes back, and he notices that the tape as it's playing is deteriorating. The acetate is falling off of the tape, and it's like a powder is actually forming. And he realizes when listening to it that the song starts out just fine in the beginning, but as it's played, and he did like 5 albums of all these different tracks that did this, it starts breaking apart as it goes.
Oh my God.
He finished the project the morning of 9/11.
What?
And there he is in New York City, and he can see the smoke and everything happening from his loft. And he plays this music while he's seeing this, and because he's finished his project, and just like the towers, he's hearing it start all fine and normal, and then it all starts breaking apart and collapsing and dying. It's like the music dies. And here's the other amazing part is that this became like the music for 9/11. When they did the 9/11 memorial,
yeah,
an orchestra played his music.
What?
The orchestra. Now, the amazing part about it is the orchestra was playing. Everyone was playing in the beginning, but as it went along for like 30 minutes or so, each musician would kind of start dropping out or start playing sporadically, because that's what happened on the tape.
Wow.
And in fact, when I was having to drive to my mom's to help her with passing, I was listening to the music because it was like a synopsis of death and life. It's beautiful all the way through.
Why have I not heard of this guy?
It is.
Now I'm going to go and listen.
You should. The music is beautiful from start to beginning. But when you get to the end, it's breaking up. It's falling apart. I love that
you said start to beginning, because that actually is
my God. That may have been a slip of, because it's all the music that is just a continuation. It's beautiful all the way through, but it's deteriorating. And it's like you just see life that way too.
That's really cool.
Oh my
God dang. I mean, like, I'm driving through the desert somehow, and you're going, this is like this.
But you know what? I'm listening to yours though too, because I want to know what it feels like driving through the desert at night. So, but there are 4 albums that came out of different music that he did. So you'd have to find one. I think they call it DLP1, which is for like this disintegration loop 1, and it's like an hour long. Some of them are 20 minutes.
Has he done anything else? Was he like classically trained? And
yeah, and he's done different stuff, but he's kind of now known for that music from that moment.
That is cool.
And that is where you see reality and art join together.
Yeah.
And it's like,
holy shit.
I know. After that.
That's cool. Man.
Now can you find some just funny ass questions?
Well, we're gonna, right. This is a question from Rick Varney. And he wants to know who the saxophone player was when we played I Come From the Water on 121 minutes.
Or 120 minutes.
Yeah. What did I say?
121. Now, wait a second. You all had a saxophone player. We never did do a saxophone player.
Right. So we made one up because the marketing rep for Interscope, that was for the Midwest, which is the Chicago area, hadn't been to New York, and we were playing on 120 minutes,
right?
And we were like, "Well, shoot, come with us." And he's like, "I can't. I work in the Midwest." We're like, "Well, let's get special permission because you're a saxophone player." We knew he played saxophone.
Oh, really?
And so we got. We wrote a part for him, and I Come From the Water, or he kind of wrote it.
Yeah.
And we said, this is our saxophone player. We got him to New York, and he played on 120 minutes with us. And then whenever we showed up in Chicago, he would jump up and play.
What?
Yeah.
No way.
We did like a slowed down.
So he packed his saxophone, came to New York,
and played saxophone on 120 minutes with us. And he's just the marketing guy from Interscope.
Did y'all even rehearse it very much?
We did a little bit.
Because how long did y'all know ahead of time you were going to be on 120 minutes? Was it a while?
No, it was like a week.
What?
In advance.
And all of a sudden you're cramming in a saxophone?
While we were there in Chicago is when we told him about it, and we schemed up this idea, and we practiced then.
Wow. How cool. How did it come out?
It came out really cool. Came out really cool. You should try it. Try and find it on 100
on the video.
Yeah, you can find the 120 minutes video.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
For I Come From the Water.
Yes.
Okay.
And it's our friend Joel, who I have not talked to in forever, and I've tried to find him. I need to find him.
Oh.
He's a good dude.
Man. See, some record people can be cool.
So all the marketing people that work for Interscope, I'm still in touch with quite a few of them.
Oh, nice.
And friends with them.
Oh.
They were good folks.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's really cool. Yep. Good memories of that. Yeah.
So good.
Oh my God. A saxophone's cool as hell.
I know, right?
Yeah. Not for some 80s power ballad. This was for
I Come From the Water.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was like real dirty and gritty.
Oh shit. Y'all need to watch it too then.
Right.
Because I'm gonna be watching. It's cool. Now let's see. Do we have any reviews or anything? We're kind of changing the whole thing here.
I think we talked a lot.
Yeah.
So
yeah, we are far into
We'll continue to answer questions. So if you guys want to keep sending in questions, we'll try and at least once a month or maybe every couple months try and answer some questions. If not on the podcast, we'll do it as extra footage, bonus footage.
And something we're throwing around is maybe doing some live stuff, live feeds. And if you all want to send us through that text messenger your phone number, we might call you.
We'll call you and we can have a chat, and you can ask us anything you want.
Yeah. So don't worry, your phone number won't go out to the public. We'll keep it just on our text thing.
Right.
But because your phone calls seem to be popular.
I like to call people.
Although we've just been getting the disconnect.
We've tried.
Yeah.
We've tried. So send us your real number that works, and we will call you, and we'll have a conversation.
Oh, and you know what? We have listeners. There are a few in Germany.
Oh, man.
And some of the other countries. Oh,
let's do it. Let's have some calls.
We're not limiting it just to the U.S. We can go out there.
Right.
So
phones go outside of the United States. It's funny how that works.
Do they really?
I know, right? Remember when it didn't because you had those cords?
Oh, oh man, I'm still trying to get used to the call waiting.
Right. Star 69.
Oh my god.
Which I think is hilarious. 69.
I know, right?
So everyone, thank you so much, and we appreciate you being patient with us as we celebrate the 50th episode.
Thank you for helping us get to the 50th episode. God, we've got that much shit to talk about musicians, and we're not
still
done.
We're still going.
The news keeps happening.
Right? So please check out all of our show notes and look at the socials. Find us there.
Oh, yeah. Like, subscribe, rate, leave us a review. Apple Podcast, anywhere you get your podcast. YouTube videos. We are going to inundate you with Jackalope shit.
So much Jackalope stuff.
Yeah.
And join us next time as we question, is it real or is it a Jackalope tale?
Oh, episode 51.
Oh my God, there's going to be so much Jackaloping going on.
Can't wait till episode 69.